Hello, everybody. How you do today? It's Bottom Tier Podcast episode 8752 and counting. Pretty awesome. Just kidding. Um, it's episode 11. I'm gonna button on my shirt because I'm not a heathen. I button mine up to the top because I'm a heathen. That's how I roll. So today, I have a couple things I want to hit on. Praj is in here because he's in a bad mood. I could have used that. I could have used a bad mood today, but being a little punk ass, so he's not gonna be here today. I have a couple things from Reddit I want to talk about, or that I saw on Reddit that are pretty cool. Look at that, a little ghost light, right there. Anyway, a couple things from Reddit that I saw that I wanted to like comment on that I thought were pretty sweet, but I guess no, but just as a starter, as kind of something to start on. First thing, here, let me pull this. Let me pop slash pull this up. Is it doing that? There we go. Pop slash pull this up. So, first things first is they fucking went ahead and the Samsung Fold was released. Revolutionary, right? Oh look, I'm disappearing. This is white. You guys haven't seen that yet. Revolutionary, right? Phone folds in half, unfolds. You look at it. It's a big screen. Tablet phone. Tablet phone. Tablet phone. Tablet phone. Pretty cool. Pretty great. But already, it is getting recalled due to shit just fucking breaking. And it's pretty fucking funny to me that they get your fuck out of my face that they didn't do more like testing or anything on this. Like they sold it out, and as it says in like what is it? Yeah, like the first line, like they're gonna reimburse the units or whatever. But like, how did you not see this coming? It's not like something that's happened way down the road. It's not like, oh, a year later we find out that all the Samsung Folds are slapping shut with some crazy spring attachment and are breaking people's legs when it's in their pocket. Like, no, like, they just released it. It got released, just happened, and they're already getting recalled. I feel like when it happens at that point, you should get some sort of reimbursement because it's not like something that's impossible. Like, oh man, we could have never predicted that. We release it, and 2 days later, it's all fucked. No shit. You could have 100% stopped that from happening. From, I don't know, holding the release a week. You probably would have figured that out. I don't know. It might just be me, but I think that is fucking ridiculous. I think it's pretty fucking dumb. I know I shouldn't be swearing because of the YouTube stuff, but I don't care. It's pretty insane in my opinion that you release something and then what seems like the next day you're recalling it, and then companies are like, "Oops." What do you mean, "Oops"? You're supposed to test for things like this. Then I feel like when things go before they get released, they need a better system for testing everything, not just the cell phone. Obviously, we're picking on Samsung right now because it's the latest thing. But like when like servers crash on release date because they weren't expecting all those people, even though like all those people pre-ordered and stuff like that. It's like you were expecting those. You fucked something up, so you're just like, whoops, the servers are down. Oh, my bad. Like, it's your fault. You should as a company take responsibility of the fact that you did not do the proper testing, in my opinion. Like I said, who am I? I don't know. I'm just some jackass. I could be wrong. But moving on. I actually Monster Hunter, if you're a fan of Monster Hunter, I like Monster Hunter. I just don't play it that much because I feel like it's a game that you need friends with, which is becoming an ever-expanding problem as I have less and less friends, and games require you to have friends to have fun, which is, it's sad, both because it reminds me that I have no friends, but also because, like, man, when I was younger, I didn't really like playing single player that much because I liked playing with my friends. And games were more single player focused. And now games are more multiplayer focused, and I prefer the single player. I don't play through all the single players because I lose, they lose my attention very quickly. Not because they're bad games, just because it's how I roll. And it's just kind of unfortunate when you're playing a multiplayer game and you need friends to have fun, because even like the matchmaking's not really that great, not that fun. But anyway, Monster Hunter is releasing texture, like high resolution updates. I know this happened like a little while ago, but I find that pretty interesting that it's gonna be 3 gigs of high resolution, approximately 3 to 4 gigs. I think that's pretty interesting, especially since they've already announced the expansion of the like the ice. I don't remember what the expansion's called, but they're like doing like the ice section of Monster Hunter, so that's pretty interesting. It's always interesting to me to see if games can pull back the audience that they have started to lose. Like the lack of content pushes people away from your video game. And then you release a big update like Monster Hunter's planning on doing with like the ice, like a whole nother biome with supposedly new creatures and new deviants of what are in the game. And it always makes me like, like, can you really just like pull them back? Some games do it, some games don't. But it's always interesting to kind of just sit there and look and see like what content did they put out, how much did they put out, and how many people it pulls back. And then not only that, like, does it pull them back for long? Because you can pull people back for like 2 days, but you probably want people back for the long term. You know what I mean? And in that case, it's probably a good idea for you, release like a big update, and then as soon as the numbers start to drop again, because people have played through the update, you drop like 2 or 3 little updates, like bam, 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 and maybe try and, I don't know, like get people back into like, hey, I like this game. I'm gonna grind it out again. I'm gonna play it again. I don't know. Like I said, just my opinion. I think it's interesting to see though games like that are like losing their initial like hype, try and bring it back to release date. Monster Hunter, in my opinion, is not really dead. There's still a lot of people playing it, and for the most part, like I said, it's like a single player game. But again, it's a lot more fun if you have at least one of your buddies with you hunting down the monsters, and it's really not fun when you don't have your buddies with you hunting down the monsters. But speaking of games that are actually dead. Oh, did I mention that today's episode was going to be a short one? Mainly because Projects isn't here, and I kind of needed his second half for the length of the episode. Especially today. Usually it's just me talking, and Projects like commenting here and there. But today I needed his opinion a lot more than normal because my opinion is rather short, simple, concise, to the point, right? Like games lose like their popularity, and then they put out these content packs and kind of roll the dice, really. Kind of just take you like hit that nat 20, you know what I mean, and hopefully win it big. Kind of the way like Destiny won back its fans with its update. It didn't really, in my opinion, didn't do it for me because I didn't want to pay for all of that to play it again. But for a lot of fans, I know that it was like, oh, Destiny's great again, you know. It's like, all right, but I think that also leads to a point of if your game is dying, something like that that's like free and or cheap is probably 150% the way to go, because most people, even though they're interested in the update, probably are like, I'm not paying for that because, you know, I'm not going to pay for it and then stop playing it in like a week. You know what I mean? Which is completely understandable. Which leads me, again, like I said, to an actually dead or pretty damn close to dying game, Fallout 76, the all multiplayer Fallout game that everybody wanted and was waiting for and have yet to actually receive because it's fucking trash. It's just bad. It's not fun. It's not really challenging. The PvP and stuff like that works in a weird way. It's just kind of a very lackluster, boring game that feels really empty for especially a Fallout game. You know what I mean? But they're releasing a pack. I think it was called like the Wild Wild Alpaca or something. But it's supposed to be like a hail of content. For some reason they led with like the camera filters. I don't understand why they led with the camera filters, but they did. It's just I find it interesting that they led with that. I just like why your game's being like complained about for lack of content and stuff like that, and then you lead with like, we got camera filters. What's up? You guys want to come take some selfies? So they're bringing in things like repair kits. This might be the wrong update, but it's like design balances, like general bug fixes. This is a huge update, and then they're bringing in a bunch of new content. Like bringing in like the legendary, like vendors and stuff like that, and they're bringing in like challenges and different like, I don't know if they're like game modes, but missions that kind of change up the way the game's rolling out. And they're, like I said, they're throwing the dice, they're throwing the Hail Mary. They're just pouring content into the game, basically trying to drown its problems in content. And I feel like it's not going to be enough. I feel like Fallout 76 fucked up so badly, like at the initial just like kaboom, that the fallout, so to speak, is still affecting, you know, the game. All the leftover like tarnished reputation and all that jazz is just effing everybody's like want to play the game again. It sucked too much too quickly, and I think it's too late for them to bring it back. But with that said, it has to be some damn good content, and from what they're putting out on the YouTubes and stuff, the advertisement, it's not looking too great for your boys over there in the 76 section, right? Like it's bad to the point where you wonder, they like, are they going to do anything that's even remotely close enough to fixing it. And then it's like obviously this was answered with today, or not today, but the other day when they're throwing out the like I said, the wild alpaca or something like that. But then you look at that content and you're like, is this gonna be enough? Like it took them a while. You know what I mean? And not only that, but they kind of like pissed off their entire community with like, oh, we'll give you in-game currency that's like worth a fucking pair of pants. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, we're constantly fucking up and kind of shitting on our community, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Here's a bunch of content. Come back, please. Buy our loot boxes. Like, no, smack that shit out of your hand. And to a degree, I kind of hope that the game fails furthermore than it already has. Now, that sounds like mean and like messed up. And it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, we want a good Fallout multiplayer game. Like, yeah, I do too. By all means, I do too. But at the same time, like, these AAA games need to learn their lesson some way. It's similar to the same thing that happened with Battlefront 2. They fucked up big. They made a lot of improvements. The game has like a new game mode, and they're releasing new maps for it like a lot quicker than expected. They put a bunch of content like fan service content, such as the skins and whatnot for all the clone troopers, and the fact that the game mode uses the clone troopers so that everybody gets to use their skin in the new game mode and stuff like that. But then at the same time, half of the skins are like, buy my loot box. You know what I mean? So it's like good and bad, and I'm happy that the game like kind of got a little bit of surge of new life, and I played the game and I enjoyed it. But at the same time, it's like you're still fucking with these loot boxes, which are part of the reason that everybody got pissed off at you to begin with. And then like same thing with Bethesda, like you put all this shit in there, but it's all boring and pointless. I'm not saying that the new content's going to be, but it could be. We don't fucking know. And it's like these companies at one point need to understand that like they can't just shit on a plate and hand it to us and be like, well, your favorite company made it. Like, oh, your mom made this food. It's literally shit on a plate, but you're gonna eat it because your mom. Like, no, that's not fucking cool. They need to grasp the concept that there is consequences, and that at the end of the day, the consumers are what they do all this shit for. Obviously, it's a lot harder than that because people are always going to buy the loot boxes. People who are lazy are always going to pay their way to the better items and, quicker success, which is unfortunate. But I feel like in the grand majority, most people, like if 76 comes out with this shit and it's all boring and like just basically a shit ton of nothing, they're just gonna be like, all right, and they're gonna leave again, and Bethesda's gonna be like freaking out. I believe the content pack is free, which is at the very least is the very least they can do. Quite literally, the very least they can do is provide content for the game that has not enough content. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's almost quite literally the very least. Like, oh, let's put content into the game that you expended. The new word today. Expensed and expected. You expected to have a lot of fun, entertaining content, and we just gave you, an empty, boring, non-fun world with boring shit to do. Like I said, quite literally the very least. And then that's why I hope that it fails, right? Because I'm hoping that it's kind of like a tough love kind of situation. Like you needed to learn the hard way that this shit can't go down the way that it's going down. It's not fucking cool. At the flip side, I feel like it might potentially do a Destiny and just like reinvigorate a lot of the player base, which is a huge problem again, because And then be like, oh, now we're good. Now we're fine. Whatever. It's fine. Like, no, it's not fine. The way that, like, all the content, the way that Destiny is now is how it should have been basically on release. It's their excuse is like, it's good now, the fans at least. Like, it's good now, it's really fun now. Like, okay, now is not then, and it's not release. Same thing with Fallout 76. Like, if this content cluster comes out and it's all fun and it's all good, like, that's how it should have released. We shouldn't have to wait for it anymore. You know, nobody would like buy a game before like all the Steam and all that stuff, open it up, and then like play half the game, and then have to wait 6 months for them to send them another disc for another $30. Like, that's what we do nowadays, and we don't think of it that way because we're downloading it and simply updating the game. But that's the problem that we're having, is that they're releasing these games quicker and with like less shit and content in them, and then they just butter you up to come back for all this content that you 90% of the time have to pay for, and then you're like, oh, it's great, it's the game I wanted. Like, yeah, no shit, it's the game you wanted. It's the game it should have fucking been. This is how it should have released, not how it is now is okay because you paid an extra $30. So now the game that was $60 is now $90, maybe even more, because you probably paid for a couple microtransactions, right? So $90+ for it to be the way it should have been at $60 fucking dollars. And I think one of the biggest problems with that is the fact that everyone's just okay with DLCs, downloadable content, and all that stuff. I think, in my opinion, Day 1 DLC should not exist. Ever. How are you going to sell somebody a game and then the day it releases be like, for $5 more, you get the new map that just came out today? You mean the map that is already ready? But instead of putting it into the game and letting everybody play it when it, released, you're going to make us pay even more? Like, fuck right off. That kind of shit is just okay nowadays. And that's why I'm hoping that the game sort of fails, because like companies need to see that this shit's not okay. It's not fine for you to just kind of fuck around and fumble shit around and be like, oh, well, it's good now. It's cool now. Like, no, that is not okay. And it's the same reason that microtransactions are so annoying to people, because it's like you could just pay for the success and stuff. Like, you could just pay for the game to be better because you could just jump to the good part, right? Like, all the grinding's no fun, but if you buy like the starter pack, you can skip the grinding. And it's like no, don't make the game grindy. If you're gonna make a starter pack that works like that, make the progression fun and entertaining so that you want to do it. And then that just leads into a whole another situation with like the reason they have like these starter packs is because I feel like not nobody, but like I say new generation like I'm old or some shit, but like the younger generation of kids that are coming in to play the video games are a lot more like persuaded by loot boxes giving them cosmetics and cool stuff. Like, nowadays when you get a legendary out of a loot box, it's like the most badass thing, right? You're like, I got a legendary out of this loot box, look at me, I'm fucking cool. But then if you rewind a few years ago, that legendary item was not in a loot box. It's a challenge that requires the challenge to be unlocked by 3 other challenges. So it's the final tier of that challenge. And then after, and only after you complete that challenge, do you get that item. So now that item is awesome, not just because it's super cool looking and it's, glows and it's shiny and shit, but because behind it there's so much significance. I can't speak today. Significance to the item. You work hard for it, you grind for it, you do, the things that you just like get so frustrated trying to do that you just quit playing the game for a day or two, until finally one day everything just snaps together and you succeed and you get the item, and you're just like, thank you, like fucking slam the keyboard, like throw my shit around, happy, everything's great, everything's awesome when you're part of a team, sort of like moment. And this item is not only amazing because it looks cool and not a lot of people have it, just like the legendary items in your loot box, but there's also that added significance to the fact that I did something to earn this. Like, I didn't just like luckily roll the dice and get this out of a box. No, I took it. I took first tier challenge, I beat it. Second tier challenge, I beat it. Third tier challenge, I beat it. And then final tier, after trying and just getting frustrated and rage quitting, finally beat it. And now I get this item that doesn't exist in the games anymore. Like, me and Projects had touched on it with the the security armor in Halo. Now in the Master Chief collections, you could just pick and choose the armor. Now I understand that they're not going to redo all of the challenges and whatnot, but there is a loot box system in Halo. So you can the only logical explanation that they didn't at least put some of the challenges back in some way, shape, or form is because they wanted the loot boxes to sell more or to be a bigger part of the game. And the fact that the younger generation has grown up with these loot boxes, I'm not saying it's all their fault. They're saying like this is what they're used to. They're used to this form of earning things. Like, oh, I unlocked a loot box yesterday and I got a legendary. Oh, that's so cool, man. I'm so jealous. Like, what are you jealous about? That he got lucky? And then, like I said, rewind that a few years and it's like, oh man, I finally got the security armor from doing all this shit. And it's like, oh dude, that's amazing. You're so fucking good. Like, I've been trying to get that for so long and I can't get it. You know what I mean? And then you're just kind of like, yeah, I got the special armor because I have no life. But the point being is like, there's no more like be above average, be excellent, be great, and then you will be represented in the game with great armor that not everybody has, that's difficult to obtain. You know what I mean? Now it's just like, play the game, maybe you'll get lucky, or spend money and there's a better chance you'll get lucky. You know what I mean? So it's like, now when people like, you go into the game like Apex, I was playing Apex with like 2 or 3 people, and they're like, oh, that guy has, that skin. Like, he's great. Like, he's good. It's like, what does that even mean? That guy has that skin, he's good. You mean he unlocked it in a box? I have the most, in my opinion, the best Caustic skin, the one where he's like blinded, right? The Sixth Sense skin. And I played Caustic like 5 times. Excuse me. And it's like, does that make me awesome at Caustic? No. Now flip the script and make it a skin that you have to earn by getting a certain amount of kills or doing a certain amount of damage in the game. Now you're like, oh, that guy is deadly. Look at how many headshots he got. You have to get so many headshots in one game to get that skin. Now it's like, all right, that guy's good. Like, the way you look in the game kind of intimidates people in their mental game. They're like, oh, if we see that guy, we're fucked. Even though in reality, he just, some money onto the boxes and got the skin. Back in the day, it was like, you see that guy and you're like, shit, if I see this guy, I'm fucked. And like, yeah, you were probably actually fucked because he's amazing at the game. And I feel like games need to start bringing that back. And sadly, I'm going to move my mic. I apologize. Sadly, they're not going to because it's not beneficial to them. But hopefully, we will find like a nice, even middle ground of, there are loot boxes for some things, right? You can get no more than rare items. You can't get the legendary items. You can get rare and the rare and down, right? Or epic and down, and then all out of loot boxes. And then legendary has to be earned. Legendary has to be earned, because then you can still make your money, right? Because you can get epic items. You can get epic skins, but the legendaries, make them. You only have to make 3 or 4. Make them earned, and then I think we'll find a nice little middle ground where they're still gonna get their money, and the people who just like don't care and just want to pay to look cool, you know what I mean, can just pay to look cool, but they'll never look as cool as the sweaties. They just spend hours doing challenges to get a skin because they love the game so much, and they love all the challenge, and they love the respect that comes with the skin. I know most people are like, "Oh, he's a sweaty nerd. That's why he has that skin." But it's like, you can say that all day, but you're playing the video game too, and he's 10 times better than you. So in this instant, you're the loser. Like, regardless of how you want to spin it, like regardless if you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go bang my girlfriend after this," you're not. You still spent the time playing the video game, and you still lost. Sorry, but yeah, I think that games need to start releasing um, more in their final form, and only require, maybe, or not require, they should require no DLC to get better. They should just require maybe like an update or two because there's a bug that was caught by the community. But anything paid should not be required. If it improves the way the game like plays, right? Like fills the void of content that the game has, you should not have to pay for it. If it's like the game is great and amazing, and then they add like an expansion pack, fair enough. You gave me a great game at base. You can add the expansion pack, which I still think is kind of bullshit, because then you can't play with people who don't have it, and it like I didn't want to buy it, but my friend bought it, so now I have to buy it, or else I can't buy it with my friend. But I feel like that's gonna happen regardless. And then with loot boxes, we need to start making shit earned again. Have to start making people earn the, oh shit, that guy's great, look at the skin he has, instead of like, oh man, that guy has a tryhard skin, he must be good. Like, no, he won it from a fucking loot box. Like, he went gambling. He just got lucky on the slot machine. It doesn't make him good. Is he probably good? Maybe. But I feel like that feeling of like, I fucking did it. Look what I got. Success is gone, and we need to bring that back. And I feel like there's a very possible and reasonable and achievable way to make like a nice in between of like anything that's max level, like legendary quality or whatever, is only earnable, and then epic and below you can buy to your heart's content. I feel like that would make a nice middle ground, right? Because there's still gonna be people who want that epic skin. You know what I mean? If that's the best they can buy, and then maybe they're like, oh man, you know what? I'm tired of that. I'm going for that legendary, and they spend more time playing your game because they have to play the game to unlock it. You know what I mean? And they get a better sense of success in the game. I guarantee people will feel like the game is better for it. But I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. But maybe if more games start to fail, more games like come out and get rejected by the community and shit on, sort of like Fallout 76 did. Maybe companies will be like, all right, let's reel it back a little bit, kind of like Battlefront did. Like, they backpedaled, they took out the loot boxes for a little while, and like removed all the like pay to win shit and stuff like that. They put them back in, but you know what I mean? Like, they were like, all right, well, probably shouldn't do that again. Shouldn't being the optimal word, because if they will, who fucking knows? But I don't know. That's my take on what's going on today. I do have 2 or 3 like cool stuffs. Give me 1 second. All right. I do have some cool. Sorry, somebody's asking me a question. I do have some cool Reddit stuff for you. It's like just kind of like, oh, this interesting. Yeah, feel good. We didn't do it last week, so I made sure I got a couple this week, cause like I just said, we didn't do it last week. I have a couple. They're all right here, queued up and ready to go. All right. So first things first is this freaking mirror, right? This is awesome. This guy's using like a 3D tracker, like the ones you use on your Xboxes and stuff like that, to make a mirror style. Like right there, you can see. And that's pretty cool. Imagine having one of those in your house. Like, people are fucking awesome, dude. Like, these people just were like, you know, it'd be cool if you had a mirror made out of dominoes. Like, yeah, how we get that done? I don't know. Let's figure it out. That's pretty fucking awesome. Also, this alligator's adorable. He's fixing everything. Let me grab the rest of them here. This one. This guy's a badass. This guy is a badass MC just chilling. Oh, I'm gonna say my internet. Like, every time I've watched this video like 4 or 5 times, and every time I watch it, it's just like, again, people are fucking awesome, right? Like, this guy's just chilling, just like fucking around, and he's doing all this cool, crazy shit, and everyone's so caught up in their day to day that nobody even fucking pays attention to this guy. Like, look at this shit, dude. Just like fucking around with a napkin, and this guy should have like a small crowd of people, just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he like fucking turns to look at the camera, like, like, obviously you realize at this point that he's getting like filmed, but it's still fucking great. It's awesome. I'm glad he realized he was getting filmed because he deserves it. And I thought this was just kind of cool looking. Just a fucking time. I like time lapses. I'm a fan of time lapses. Make me feel good. Make me happy. And this is just a little fucking salamander popping out of its little single cell shell. Just he just shits out at the end. But yeah, that. Take a look around next time you go out. Maybe you'll see some guy doing some fucking magic tricks and doing shit. Don't forget to slow down every now and again. Living your life so fast and crazy. Hopefully companies will stop being like greedy pieces of shit. You know what I mean? And we'll get a better era of games, cuz games are freaking awesome right now. It's just all this greediness that's like destroying, it's mainly like, it's almost always the publisher destroying like the team's work with all their greediness and just like, I need it. Like, I need it. So hopefully we'll get better games with like things like 76 and whatnot failing. And like I said, Jesus, I hope that they fail. Not because I'm like, oh, I hate 76. I like the idea of 76, but I feel like something needs to be the example. Battlefront 2 was sort of an example of like, you can't pay for a game and then pay to win. That's not okay. And 76 needs to be an example, sort of like Destiny has been, of like lack of content, needs to be followed up at the very minimum with free content. Like, you saw what happened to Anthem 76. It's already dead. You are dead. You're releasing all this new content. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's free. And it better be good, or else you're gonna fucking die and burn. And hopefully people who like publish and produce games like will realize we need to have a fun, full, complete game before we can charge extra money to have a fun game. Like, it needs to be finished before you can even think about making DLC, and stop making day one DLCs. Also, hopefully we can bring back the earning of cosmetics and like, but mainly cosmetics at this point, because most games are on like an even playing field, and the cosmetics are what you earn. Hopefully we can get back to a earning system. Like I said, even if it had loot boxes where like epic and below is purchasable and legendary up is all earnable, that'd be pretty fine and dandy. Battlefield 5's done it already. Now that I think about it, the class challenges gets you that class's specific clothes, and you can't buy them to my knowledge still. So right there, happy medium. Gun skins you can buy and go crazy for. People's like cosmetics you have to earn. So, like I said, that's cool. You can buy other ones, but like those ones are like the hardest, and in my opinion, for most classes, the best. Happy little medium. You got your loot boxes, and you can make your people earn things. And last thing to wrap up, hopefully projects will stop being such a little bitch. I said it, projects. You're not gonna watch this anyway. Haha. Show up to the fucking podcast. It's an hour a week. You lazy shit. And tomorrow is Thursday. Have a fucking blessed Thursday, guys. It's Thigh Thursday. It's the best day of the week. And like I said, next time you go out, take a second, take a look around. Maybe some dude's doing some crazy magic tricks, levitating napkins, while you're stuffing your face, and you're so busy stuffing your face you don't even realize he's making napkins float into the air and turn into dragons. But anyway, other than that, thank you guys for watching. We are done for the day. Like I said, it's a little short one for this week because Projects isn't here. But I feel like I ranted enough to keep it nice and long and interesting. And I hope you guys have a good one and have a wonderful rest of your week until next Wednesday. Have a good one.